Hi everybody, I'm joined today by Clint Swindall, the president and CEO of Verbulosity, here to talk to us about networking. Clint, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.
Now Clint, there is a great story that you have about a camouflage party you had to attend once. Tell me quickly about that.
Well, it was interesting. I live in Texas. I'm not a hunter. I have nothing against hunting other than the fact that since I live in the Texas Hill Country, all I have to do is look out my window and I can see these deer. I don't need to get up at 3 o'clock in the morning to go find something that hangs outside my office at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. But I got invited to a camouflage party with some friends in my neighborhood, and since I'm not a hunter, I didn't own anything camouflage. So my wife and I ran to our local sporting goods store, and I assumed I would buy a T-shirt or a jacket or something. I had no idea what I would get because I knew I wouldn't need it past this party. But I walked down this one aisle and was amazed by how many things comes in a camouflage print. And so while I stood there, I couldn't decide what I wanted, so I started trying all of this stuff on, and I realized very quickly that I wouldn't have to actually dress in camouflage to go outside to hide from the deer. I could just put all of this camouflage stuff on, jump out of the woods, and the deer would drop to its knees in laughter at how ridiculous that I looked. And so I went to that party, and I learned several lessons through that process. Number one, I learned that sometimes you just have to go even when you don't want to go. I remember getting the invitation and thinking, I don't know that I want to go and be a part of this. But I realized very quickly once I was there, it wasn't necessarily about going and doing something I didn't enjoy. It was about the fellowship that went on and the relationships that I built with the people that were there. Also realized that sometimes you have to respect others for what they do, even if it's not something that you necessarily do. I'm not a big hunter, but that doesn't mean I don't enjoy being around people who do that, and I can still respect what they do, even if it's not something that I enjoy. And perhaps the most important lesson that I learned through all that is sometimes we just have to laugh at ourselves. My wife took a picture of me wearing a camouflage ski mask in the middle of a sporting goods store. Now here I am as a professional speaker, trainer, consultant, and author, traveling around the country, trying to be as professional as I can be, and I'm standing in the middle of a sporting goods store with a camouflage ski mask on my face, and my wife taking a picture. And then not only did I do that, but I included that in a newsletter that I sent out to over 5,000 people around the world. And sometimes you just have to realize that we just need to stop and laugh at ourselves and truly enjoy the magnificent environment we all live in.
Absolutely. Now, Clint, I think this really can translate over to the job seeker in terms of networking. While it might not be a camouflage party, it can feel like something, equally as alien to them.
You bet.
So would you recommend the same things, even if it's something you might not think that you'd be that into, going out there in terms of just fellowship and relationships?
I would. It's interesting. I remember when I first left corporate America and I went to work for a very small consulting firm, one of the primary focuses of the organization was going to networking events, and I knew that I just wasn't comfortable in that environment, and I had to force myself. It's not always the outgoing personality that enjoys going to a networking event, and sometimes it's a painful experience. Sometimes we just don't want to go do that, but when we're looking for a job, when we're looking to enhance our careers, the number one way for that to happen is through the personal relationships that we build at events like that. We can put together a wonderful resume, we can send it out, we can post things online, but at the end of the day, what really helps that relationship begin is that personal relationship, that one-on-one, that eye contact that we can have with another human being. That is the bonus that comes along with that whole networking process. And sometimes we think, I don't know that that's me, I don't want to do that, I'd rather just stay in the comfortable secrecy of the internet to where people don't necessarily see me, but they see my credentials. Sometimes we have to get out of our comfort zone and go do some things we really don't want to do.
Absolutely. Clint, thank you so much.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.